You're listening to Commander's Demand with your host, Sports PSP, exclusively on the GRYD Network.
Yo, what's up, folks? It's your boy Sports PSP. Welcome to Commanders Podcast. It's a podcast in which I discuss things surrounding the Washington Commanders, giving you my analysis, my perspective on things. I want to talk about free agency. I want to talk about some of the signings that we've made, such as Nick Gates, 3 years, $16.5 million contract. But not only that, we also added Andrew Willie of the Kansas City Chiefs. We signed him to a 3-year, $24 million contract. I thought these were very solid moves because, as I said before, folks, the offensive line, that was something that we really needed to address. We really needed to address our offensive line. Last year, we didn't do a good job as far as protecting our quarterback, protecting Carson Wentz, protecting Taylor Heineke last year. Therefore, we definitely needed to make some moves on the offensive line. And we're off to a very solid start. Gates, I like Nick Gates. The concern I do have, however, back in 2021, he did have a broken fibula. Last year, he was able to return. He played well. Hell, it took him even like 7 surgeries in order for him to come back. But so far, he seems pretty good. He seems like he's ready to play. He played well last season. It was a miracle. I mean, considering the amount of mental and physical hell he went through. I mean, 7 surgeries. He had to undergo 7 surgeries after that broken fibula. You know, God bless him. Glad that he's on the team. I think he will be a contributor to the team. Also, Andrew Willie. I love having Andrew Willie on the squad because, you know, former Super Bowl champion, the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, and I thought he played a strong role for the offensive line for Kansas City as well as Orlando Brown. And I think he'll do his part protecting the quarterback this season. Of course, I am going to discuss Darren Payne. Washington, we signed him to a 4-year, $90 million contract, including $60 million guaranteed. That was a really, really good move on the part of Washington. Very good move. First of all, he's coming off a Pro Bowl year. He had a career high in sacks, 11.5. He plays a strong role for our defense. So, of course, we can't let him go. We can't do that. So, I'm very happy that we took care of Darren Payne. And, look, our defense is nothing to play with. You know, with him, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat, and hopefully if Chase Young can stay healthy. You know, we constantly talk about, you know, people talk about Micah Parsons as the best defensive player in the NFC East. Before Micah Parsons, it used to be Chase Young. Chase Young, his career has been derailed, of course, due to injury. But if Chase Young can resemble into the player that he once was, oh my God. And we may have to revisit the conversation as far as who's the best defensive player, either him or Micah Parsons. Also, some news regarding free agency. Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is now with the Washington Commanders. And I'm just reading an article here on ESPN. Sources told Diana Rossini, quarterback Jacoby Brissett is expected to sign with the Washington Commanders. Brissett will replace Taylor Heineke, who agreed to a 2-year contract with the Atlanta Falcons on Tuesday. Commanders head coach Ron Rivera has said that Sam Howell will enter the offseason program as the team's starting quarterback. Jacoby Brissett last year, he was there. He started 11 games last year for the Cleveland Browns because, of course, Deshaun Watson suspension. They went 4-7. With him at quarterback last year, Cleveland was ranked 6th in the league in offensive efficiency. And just reading more here from this article from ESPN, he finished the regular season ranked 8th in the league in QBR, 59.9, ahead of noticeable AFC North quarterbacks such as Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. He finished the season completing 64% of his passes, a little over 2,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. So what I like about Jacoby Brissett, big quarterback, strong arm, and I think is a really good mentor. And I think he will definitely do his part as far as mentoring Sam Howell. I mean, this is the year for Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell will be just fine with Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. Some people are not so sure on Sam Howell because where we drafted him, he was drafted in the 5th round. But I believe in Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell will be a lot better than people give him credit for. I think Bieniemy is just going to utilize him, look at what he does best, and just build around Sam Howell and get him to reach his potential. Look, it was tough that Taylor Heineke, he decided to go to a 2-year deal, $20 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons. I want to take the time to give Taylor Heineke his kudos because I really appreciate what he did for the team. And I said it before, folks. I'll say it again. I never wanted Carson Wentz to begin with the first place. I felt like the team should have just went with Taylor Heineke as the starter. And Taylor Heineke is a solid quarterback. I think he is a competent quarterback. He'll win you a fair amount of games. He's going to compete his tail off. I'm happy for him in Atlanta. I think he'll be the day one starter for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know who's at quarterback. I mean, there's Desmond Ridder. Marcus Mariota is no longer there anymore. So it seems to me that Heineke will be the day one starter. But I just want to take my time to give Taylor Heineke his kudos. I really wanted to appreciate everything that he did for us. And I've also said it, had he played in that game against Cleveland instead of Carson Wentz, we probably would have won. And who knows, maybe we would have secured a playoff spot. Because I just felt like he has those types of intangibles. He has better intangibles than Carson Wentz. So it seems like Washington is going to be Sam Howell's team. We did release J.D. McKissick. I mean, I wish him nothing but the best. As for Washington, however, we did save up some money, by releasing him. It says it right here. I'm just reading an article from ABC 27. By releasing, article from ABC 27. By releasing McKissick, Washington saves $1.2 million in cap space, and the Commanders now enter NFL free agency with just under $20 million in available cap space. So, look, we had to make a right decision. I mean, business is business, so we had to do what was possible to save up in cap space. As you all know, Washington, we have the 16th overall pick in the draft. And I've thought about it really long and hard, folks, because I've told you I still want to improve our offensive line. And I mentioned one of the defensive players. I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe someone will remind it to me who I talked about as far as like improving the cornerback position. But I got to be honest, folks. I got to be really, really honest. I would love for Washington to take a shot at Georgia's Darnell Washington. When I look at Darnell Washington, man, he's a big dude out of Georgia. And also, shout out to Street Scores, Rico. He does a lot of he does absolutely great content regarding the Washington Commanders. I highly recommend you check out his podcast, give him some love. I love Darnell Washington. You know, he checked in at the combine, 6'6", 264 pounds. You know, he has all the physical gifts at the tight end position. He can jump. He can run. He's got power. He can block. He can do it all. And I got to be honest, even though I would be okay with offensive tackle or a cornerback, but I would love, maybe it's more of a luxury, not a necessity, but I would absolutely love Darnell Washington on our team. Because I'm not sure with Logan Thomas. And let me say this for the record. I don't hate Logan Thomas. I actually like Logan Thomas. But he is coming off an injury. He is coming off a torn ACL. And when I look at Darnell Washington, he's younger. You know, Logan Thomas is about 31, 32 years old. Darnell Washington is 21. So why not go with Darnell Washington? Why not? Why not go with Darnell Washington? Why not go with a young stud? Why not go with someone like him? It would help us. It definitely would help us. I mean, if you just watch him, if you just watch highlights of him or on tape, he is a nightmare. And for middle linebackers, and of course, DBs and safeties, he's that damn big. And just a freak of nature. So I would love for the Commanders to draft Darnell Washington. Again, maybe that's more of a luxury, not a necessity pick, because we need to work on our cornerbacks and we need to work on our offensive line. But I would love that. And, of course, for our young quarterback, Sam Howell. Oh, man, folks. I really do think Washington, like I said, folks, we're not known for making splashy or spectacular picks. I don't think that's us. I just think we took a very safe, very conservative approach this offseason. It did hurt that we did lose some guys like Taylor Heineke. It did hurt that we lose our linebacker, Cole Holcomb. He's now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We also let go of our offensive line coach, John Matsko. And I felt like it was time to let go of John Matsko. Considering how awful the offensive line was last year, we had to make an upgrade. So, folks, we got to do something with Washington. We got to do something as far as our realistic expectations. Overall, I'm going to give Washington, as far as the offseason, I'm going to give it somewhere around a B-. I'm not going to say A plus, B, or anything like that. B-. I think we took a very safe, conservative approach. I thought we did a good job as far as adding some offensive linemen. We did it again with Andrew Willie, Nick Gates. Okay. We definitely took care of Darren Payne, but there's still a lot of work left to be done. I don't know. I just think as far as the free agency, I think we did a good job as far as being safe, being conservative. So those are my thoughts. Hope everyone is enjoying the rest of your day. I will try my very best to come up with some more content regarding football for the Washington Commanders and much more. But other than that, it's your boy Sports PSP. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as usual, God bless.